Thank you for joining this session today. If you've tuned in, then I'm guessing you're a specialty or self-performed contractor thinking of consolidating and connecting your tech stack in order to maximize productivity and profitability. So we have a lot to cover, but before we get started, just a little housekeeping. Please take a moment to review this slide on forward-looking statements. To briefly summarize, you should not rely on forward-looking statements as predictions of future events. All right, so let's dive right in and let's get the show on the road. To start, I'd like to make a couple of introductions for today's session. I will be inviting Brad up to the stage later. He's one of our valued partners and customers at Marathon Electrical Contractors. Representing the team, he is the Chief Financial Officer who joined approximately 2 years ago. And my name is Michelle Turner. I'm a product marketing manager here at Procore. I'm specifically focused on supporting all of you wonderful, hardworking specialty contractors. I want to talk about our journey, how we became one of the fastest growing teams at Procore, giving us the ability to truly build solutions for you and your teams. Almost 2 decades ago, Procore launched in 2002, delivering one of the first cloud-based platforms for general contractors. Fast forward to 2018, the idea was born to launch an entirely new division dedicated to specialty contractors. And by the end of the year, the team was assembled, and by 2019, we officially launched the specialty contractor team with, I think it was less than 20 members. And fast forward to today, it's one of our fastest growing teams, fastest growing parts of our business, with several hundred people dedicated to you and helping support you across marketing, sales, support, and R&D. We're all working together to help build, launch, and support all these purpose-built solutions for you. And back in 2018, we had around 1,800 customers that were specialty contractors. Shout out to all of you that have been here before even 2018. But today we partner with over 2,200 customers and over 1 million projects and 1.3 million users. So it's phenomenal growth, and we're so happy for all of you that have been on this journey with us and for all of you that are about to start. And the reason for this is because, as many of you probably know or have realized recently, is that even the robust tech stack of specialty contractor tools are useless if they're not integrated. Disjointed or disconnected solutions really prevent your teams from effectively communicating and effectively managing workflows between the field and office. So this is how we got here. Our strengths are really your advantages. It helps address everything I just said. It's, bringing all those solutions together to help you improve field to office communication, to increase productivity through real-time insights, and then reduce rework with greater visibility and accountability. Our seamless workflows are allowing specialty contractors to focus less on data management, which is probably taking up a lot of your day today, and allowing you to free up time to focus more on what you wanted to do when you joined the industry, which is construction management, so you can do what you do best, build. And our customers are already seeing the ROI. In a recent survey, we found out that our specialty contractor customers are able to turn around change orders 4.5 days faster than before. They've been able to save 2.5 hours every week on daily reporting, and they're able to get answers 3 days faster with Procore's RFIs. That's all adding together to save approximately 12 hours per week for superintendents, foremen, PMs, and PEs. And in addition, our customers are able to better mitigate risk through 3 key areas: standardization, visibility, and protection in litigation, which I'm sure all of those things are super important to you. And yes, saving time and reducing risk is obviously extremely important, but something that was super exciting to see was that our customers said they were able to be 32% more efficient, which meant that they could take on more projects than before. So how do they do it? These numbers are great. How do we help? Let's talk about that. Before we talk about a solution, let's first talk about the problem. What are the current challenges that you face today? I'd say most importantly, construction projects have gotten more and more complex, but contractors like yourself are expected to complete these projects a lot faster with lower costs. And that's on top of the added challenge of labor and material costs consistently increasing year over year. I'm sure this year is no exception. And add to that the labor shortage. Based on a recent report by USG and the US Chamber of Commerce, The labor shortage is driving companies, I'm sure you out there in the audience, to turn down job opportunities just because limited resources. On top of that, they're asking their most skilled workers to do more. I'm sure that sounds familiar to you all. And as you might already know, that can often lead to burnout, which often can lead to rework. So on top of that, this year has been super crazy. We have added pressures that we all face from COVID-19, which is resulting in less projects, driving even more shortages in labor, and there's less available products and materials, all of which are driving the cost of the project. So add to that the unknown, the unexpected, the unplanned, which create an almost unending number of challenges. And those challenges impact the cost, schedule, and resources, which are already at risk, like you saw. So, can we alleviate all of these unknowns? We can, but to alleviate some of these, we need technology. And in the last 20 years, we've seen a rapid evolution in construction technology, and that pace of change is increasing. 30 years ago, we were living in an analog world when you were just color coding your notebooks and project information was locked away, unable to impact any of your future work. Today, we live in an age where everything's digitized. It's definitely better and easier to capture data, but it's all in like 20 different systems, so we're not actually able to identify problems and start learning from them. Now we're entering that age of insights where we're able to connect all these solutions and pull out these insights so we can learn from them. And a lot of these, the leaders in the industry are already doing this today. But unfortunately, just due to resourcing and time, I know a lot of you aren't able to become more efficient. There's a lot of things in your way that aren't allowing you to increase efficiency, like time and resources. And that's costing us a lot of money. That's actually costing us $1.6 trillion a year. So those are our challenges. What's the solution? It's a platform that allows us to have intelligent systems that allow data to pass back and forth between software applications seamlessly and freely. They allow us to make better, faster, and more informed decisions when these unknowns occur. And these platforms, believe it or not, they're already in our lives every day, assisting us to make faster decisions. And I guarantee almost everyone in this room, I would say if we weren't virtual, I bet you everyone today used one of these systems. But take driving directions, for example. This might be what it looked like. You take out your atlas and you look in the index, look up the street names, and map out this super complicated course based on just a bunch of maps. There's no real-time insights. There's no way for you to understand maybe some roadblocks or some closures or closed businesses that you might face. So it was really time consuming and it wasn't perfect. You had risk exposure because something could happen that you just can't plan for right now. So you really didn't know the impact of your decisions until you already made them. Now today, what does it look like? Within a click of a button, a few seconds, you have the best route mapped out for you. And then you also have additional insights such as, hey, do you want to take the bus instead of drive? Do you want to fly? Here are some flights. Here are some costs. So many different things that already have been thought out for you so that you don't need to do all that. It's based on an intelligent system built on data, connected workflows, and all this great information that allows you to make the most informed decision. So these platforms, they're already making us so much more productive. Why shouldn't we expect the same from construction technology? This is exactly what Procore is doing for construction. We're helping you build that intelligent system so you can tackle those challenges, those unknowns, with real-time insights into the things that allow you to make the most informed decision. And with our platform, we've created an open and flexible framework for solving multiple complex problems. Everyone on a project is connected, collaborating, sharing data, driving the project forward faster and more efficiently than ever. The goal is to help construction professionals like you do your best work in one place. So we created a streamlined workflow that allows the communication process to be seamless across the project, across all stakeholders for all our products. So now we talked about your challenges and how we can help solve for those. Let's talk about some specifics. So what is your atlas, what does your trip planning look like today? When it comes to productivity, this might be something that you're looking at. This is an example of your map. You're driving blind as it relates to productivity. You're dealing with those bad roads or road closures long after you've had the opportunity to course correct. So by the time timesheets are submitted, payroll is processed, the PM is plugging it into the spreadsheet for production rates. It's too late. The project's already done. That piece was already installed. All those materials already installed. So there's no way to go back and do it all over again with the updated information that you have. So here's our Google Maps solution to this problem. In Industry First, a feature we released this summer, real-time labor productivity.
For self-performing contractors, labor is the most precious resource, but it's also the most common cause of budget overruns. Waiting 1 to 2 weeks for payroll to understand the financial impact of labor productivity is dangerous because issues could have already come and gone. With Procore, the moment you enter time and production data from the field, it automatically updates the budget as dollars, so you can get real-time insight into project costs and productivity. Fill out a timesheet, track the material installed, and submit. Project managers and executives back in the office instantly see the labor productivity information they need to keep projects on schedule and on budget. They can identify at-risk scopes of work earlier and act fast to make decisions that protect budget and profitability.
Let's take a look at another atlas of sorts. Here's what your T&M process looks like today. You're driving across the country, going as fast as you can, only to arrive at the destination and your hotel is closed.
Have your time and materials tickets been lost, delayed, unaccounted for? Stop relying on pen, paper, and spreadsheets. Introducing T&M tickets with Procore. For out-of-scope work, you can now document and track at-risk work to help protect your margins. Use Procore's simple and intuitive mobile application to capture labor, equipment, and material used in the field. Then, verify stakeholder agreement with mobile signatures. With Procore T&M tickets, you can consolidate your T&M process into a seamless field-to-office workflow that ensures you get paid. Record at-risk work, protect your margins.
I know we're all virtual, but I hope that the feeling of excitement in this room, you're feeling too at home or wherever you are right now. And to keep this excitement going, I'd love to invite onto this virtual stage Brad Sandage to do a little podcast-esque Q&A session with me. As one of our customers that recently implemented the 2 features I just highlighted prior, Brad will be sharing their story of how they addressed challenges prior to Procore and how things look today after partnering with Procore. Before we dive into Marathon's story, let's get to know them a little bit better, yeah? So Brad, first of all, thanks for joining us today. Can you give us a little background on who you are and what you do?
Sure. I am the CFO over at Marathon Electrical Contractors. We're a company based down in the Southeast in Birmingham, Alabama. We work across the Southeast. We've got about 600 employees and about 125 million in revenue.
Awesome. And I know that you started back in 1987, and now fast forward a few decades, you're one of the largest electrical contractors in the Southeast. Is that right?
That's right. We have a large presence in the Southeast. We do work from anywhere from, we've gone all the way to Texas up to North Carolina and down to Florida.
That's amazing. So, well, congrats to you and the team on that amazing growth. So as you may know, our company vision at Procore is to improve the lives of everyone in construction. I feel that your company's mission statement aligns quite nicely. Can you tell us more about how this mission has translated into your company culture?
Sure. We like you, believe that we ought to try to find a way to make life easier for our people and allow them to be as most productive as possible. And by adapting new technologies, we feel that it furthers that mission.
And I feel like you told me this on a few calls before this, that you actually come from a different background before you got to Marathon, and that's kind of how the Procore journey started for the company. Can you tell us more about that?
Sure. Yes, I was really sitting on another side of the table. I was in the real estate development companies for 20 something years. We were engaging companies like Marathon to create the work. I came to Marathon about 2.5 years ago, and in my background, I had been through a number of different conversions of technology systems and implementations, and was very much involved in some of these implementations in the past. And when I got here, I realized we did not have very much in the way of technology, and we had disparate systems. We were using Excel for one thing, and this other system for that, and uh, network folders for this, et cetera. So I was looking at it and said, there's got to be a better way. And one of the guys said to me, well, at some of these conferences I've been to, I have seen uh, Procore, some simulations of Procore out there, and it seems like that might be something for us. So I immediately jumped on it, and as soon as we saw it, we said, "Yeah, this is what we need to be doing." So we started working towards that end.
Yeah, that's great. And that's actually one of the reasons why, we invited you to speak during this session. I feel like you and your teams were, I mean, you and your teams were one of the first to use the features I just mentioned earlier. But y'all are always eager to adopt new technology, which makes this partnership so great. And speaking of technology, when I asked you this question about technology's role on Marathon's business strategy, you said this. Can you tell me more? How did Procore play a part?
Sure. We had multiple, like I said, we had multiple systems. And so in order to, by using Procore, we were able to consolidate all those various different pieces of the puzzle that we were using to pull it all together and put it all in one place. And as a result of having an online platform like Procore, there's instant access uh, from anywhere that you got an internet connection, which is great when they're working on the job site. But more importantly, it allowed us to have transparency and improve our collaboration efforts. So, which ultimately led to higher margins. And I know some of the project managers don't necessarily like the transparency sometimes, because the president of the company could be sitting in his living room watching TV and says, "Oh, I'm gonna go look up this job," and looks at the job and says, "Hey, what's going on over here?" And so the PM has to stop what they're doing and deal with that. So transparency is good for us, except sometimes the PMs probably don't like it as much.
Well, so when we started our partnership in Procore back in May of 2018, you said that you rolled it out by starting all of your new projects in Procore and then keeping kind of everything else business as usual. And then within a year, all your projects, all of them were in Procore. Can you tell us about this like slow rollout implementation process and how you approach that? I know a lot of people on the call or joining in today are either thinking about getting Procore or in the middle of implementing Procore. And I know they're always willing to learn from people that have gone through this before. And I feel like you've been really successful. So can you tell us about why you approached it that way, how it helped, and how everyone felt about this kind of the long con of like, hey, we're starting it now, but slow and steady wins the race. Can you tell us more about that?
Sure. That's exactly right. We went, and what we realized was uh, we needed to start with a simple base and get our best technology people. The people in our company that are best with technology and are probably more forward thinking than, and every organization has got that. And so we took some of our people who are better with that and said, let's go look at two or three jobs, and let's really spend our time, because there are some capabilities of customizing Procore a little bit to your way of thinking, and there's some setup issues that you need to think through. So by taking two or three projects with people who are really probably more engaged in advancing technology, we were able to really build the right base and foundation for using Procore. And then by taking the process and adding it with new jobs, each new job, we were able to then teach a PM at a time, kind of, and foremen at, a few foremen at a time, and a few superintendents at a time. And so that allowed us to be rolling out on a good, solid foundation, but also not going too fast for the guys, and really being able to focus in on and help them understand what they're getting into.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that they like some of it in addition to feeling like it's a little big brother. um, Before, when we talked, I know you said this statement and I loved it. You said Procore makes our employees' lives easier, which has a domino effect on everything that we do. Can you tell us more about that? Like how has it improved everyone's lives?
Oh yeah, I mean it's 1,000% better than what it has been, and it's just because you go to one place and you see all you need to see to run your job. You don't have to go to this particular system to see this, and you don't have to go to another system to see that for the drawings and stuff, and 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 beyond that, what we have found with Procore, as is with a lot of systems like this, is that it's usually built based on consultation with a number of top-notch companies. And so as a result, you get a best-in-class type product and process out of it. And so we had found that there were some things we were doing that weren't necessarily what was really dictated by the system. And we said, well, let's do it like the system. There, I mean, that's there's a reason they built it like that. Let's see why. So it's enabled us to standardize processes. So when you go from one job to the next, everybody's doing the same thing. You don't have to worry about learning this PM's way of doing things and then this PM's way of doing things. It's a more uh, clear way of running the organization.
Yeah, I love that. And you kind of touched on it just now, but can you tell me more about what life looked like? What your previous processes looked like before Procore?
Sure. We had one system that we used to, for instance, take care of our uh, POs, and then we had, of course we had our accounting system which contained our budgets, and so we had to enter. For instance, we would enter something in one system to enter the PO and get it set up and sent to a vendor, and then we'd turn around and do the same entry into our accounting system for the budget and the PO, so that we could sync it all together at some point down the line. We had we were doing we had all our drawings and the multiple versions of them as it be it on network folders. And so, I mean, that was a great benefit to us from Procore, just from the drawings. You put the drawings in there and the revisions automatically update. So you always know everybody's working with the latest plans. That was not always the case in the past because of the way we were using our own technology. We had a separate system. We would use Excel to do billing, and now we've got a billing system set up inside Procore. So these are just a number of the examples that we changed in our systems as a result of moving to Procore.
These two graphics are the graphic that you're about to see. You said that this is how you felt before Procore, and then this is how you felt after. Yeah, rainbows and butterflies.
Yeah, that's it. You got it. You captured it.
Note to the crowd here: Brad picked that image by himself. That was his choice. But yeah, in all seriousness, it's so great to hear that. I'm curious. You said that your team wasn't always working off the latest set of drawings. What did that mean? Like, what did that cost you?
Oh, we could get into rework situations. Somebody started doing something wrong way, got halfway into the project or that particular aspect of the project, and somebody come in and say, "Hey, no, you've been using the wrong set of drawings. It got changed on such and such date," and so we would have to do some rework sometimes as a result of that. So clearly, much more efficient if everybody's got the same set of plans.
Yes, for sure. Are there any other tools in particular that you mentioned a few, but are there any other tools? I feel like this might be a leading question because the session here is about tracking time and T&M tickets, but is there any tool in particular that helps?
Yes, we basically said it. And the way we think about it is we budget the hours for the job. So it used to be we would look at a budget and say, old days we would say here's so many hours and so many dollars budgeted for this. And then we got into Procore and there really wasn't a great tool right away to track the hours. And we said, but that doesn't matter. The dollars are more important. So we just been building our budgets based on dollars and tracking against that. Then this we came upon this productivity tool where we can put in the budgeted hours, and so now we're easily able to track both the hours and the dollars against our budget, and that's been, I mean, that the PMs really love that because it really helps them project out where they're going to be. They could say, I budgeted 1,000 hours, I got 600 hours in it. So I should have about 40% of the work done, and so that may not always translate to the dollar. So it helps to have both tools to help you figure out how far along you are and where you need what you need to do.
Right. And I would say that's definitely one of the benefits of having a platform solution is that there's so many interconnectivity that
Mm.
allows you to have those insights that you wouldn't have had before. And another feature, I know this is a little bit newer, so maybe not as much time to test it out and see the impact, but how has it been going with T&M tickets?
Great. The guys really like it. And talking with some of the PMs, I realized that there were times when they would do this on paper, and the foreman would just lose the piece of paper, and then we got to try to collect on it, and we don't have any documentation, and we'd lose out on some revenue. So it's really nice. The PMs and DMs like it because they feel much more secure about having all the information that they need when they ultimately have to have that conversation about additional billings. So, mm,
Before we let you go, is there anything else you'd like to say to all your peers that are dialed in today, listening to you? Like you said, when you use Procore, there's like best in class people that provided, feedback, and that's what we're built on. But you are also one of those best in class companies out there. Don't forget that. So, is there anything else you'd like to say to anyone that's either considering getting Procore, considering consolidating all their systems like you had just talked about, or anything like that? Just general advice, words of wisdom.
we have never looked back from the decision. I know it's I've spoken with a number of potential customers for a Procore, done some referrals with them, and helped some potential customers try to understand what we went through. And a lot of times you do hear questions about the cost, but I'm telling you, we have not regretted this decision one moment. We have just re-upped on our 3 year. We had a 3 year contract, initial 3 year contract, and we just re-upped on that. So it tells you we firmly believe in this product and that we highly recommend it. And just when you dive in, don't try to go too deep too fast. That's all I.
Well, there you have it. You had a CFO say that the cost wasn't a problem. So I didn't bribe him to say that, I promise. Well, fantastic. Thank you, Brad, for sharing your story with us. We look forward to hearing more success stories from you and your teams. And I know when we talked, you said Procore was 1,000 times better than what you had before. But, we have another 3 more years together. Let's make that 2,000 or a million. So
Okay.
again, thank you.
Thank you.
Hearing from customers like Brad and Marathon, it allows us to really improve our product. When we hear from you and get your feedback, it allows us to adjust to really meet your needs. And speaking of improvements, let's get to the fun stuff of what's next. So when we look at labor costing and T&M tickets, we see a very similar journey at Procore. So with labor costing, before Procore, there was no real consistent process or single system that allow you to track real-time labor costs and see the impact on your financials. So the first part was to allow you to collect that production data. Next was to connect it to your budget so that you could see how it impacted your actual budgeted hours and costs. Next, with T&M tickets, we're looking at how can we improve the process to allow you to better document and track these tickets rather than doing it on these triplicate copies and papers that just get lost. So first part is allowing you to better do that. The next part is to allow that data to feed seamlessly across your systems to ensure accountability and accuracy. So what does that mean? At Procore, we see this as a direct integration with our T&M and change management tools. On the theme of connecting systems in a single platform, we want to allow specialty contractors to connect T&M data captured in the field to their financial tools and accounting systems, all in one place. Yes! So I know this is virtual, but I feel like if we're all in a room together, there would be cheering. So I'm going to pretend for right now. And with that, on behalf of the entire specialty team here, I'd like to say thank you for the continued partnership. We're proud of the impact we've been able to make over the past couple of years, and we're really, really excited for what's ahead for this particular group. Thanks for tuning in, and please reach out if you have any further questions. You can start by visiting procore.com/specialtycontractors to schedule a demo or to sign up for a live webinar. Thank you and have a wonderful rest of your day.